And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is Tuesday. It's the 9th. It's December. It's 2025. I'm back in Florida. I left 15-degree weather. I believe we had like 65, 70 here in Florida. Why do I even go up to the Northeast? I got to tell you, 15 degrees? That's cold, kids. Hey, as always, serious talk on everything that affects you. And particularly now, everything that affects you. We pride ourselves on being in nobody's tank, in nobody's camp. All we're interested in is not being BS'd. We want to be told the truth. We don't want to be treated like we're stupid. And unfortunately, another administration, same old, same old, same old. We'll pick that apart in a little bit. And why are we going to pick it apart? Because it really matters. No, it really matters. And of course, we'll do the markets, the economy, your job, your industry, whatever comes to mind. Whatever matters. And if you don't get this radio show in your city, we will post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. If you don't follow us at X, you should. If you'd like to email us, just be nice. By the way, also on the YouTube channel, BizTV and other podcast apps. All right. So, a little distribution in the market, nothing bad. In fact, while I can tell you the Dow was down 178 today, the NASDAQ was up 30, and the NASDAQ 100 was up 40, and the Russell 2000 was again up. While I can tell you the Dow's down 365 points this week, let's call it 395 points this week. I don't think it's that bad, except if you own JP Morgan, which we did coming into today. And we'll explain that in a little bit. But I have to tell you, first off, the big banks acting well, the gold and silver acting well, little better tone in the crypto. We've had a good broad base move in the market, but I think we're already losing that broad base particularly. Remember we were telling you how healthcare really coming on? Well, that didn't last too long. It didn't last too long. In fact, healthcare kind of getting smeared right now. Some stocks that went vertical. What's the opposite of vertical? Eli Lilly. Talk about that stock went crazy to the upside and 9 straight days down about 130 points. And I'm being told it's because of major league competition for that, whatever. By the way, it really works. I hadn't seen, I'm not going to mention who, somebody in about 4 months who was not thin and more than, and just lost everything. Took whatever, and boy, oh boy, wow. Look great. They say they feel great. Stuff works. Just letting you know. So I don't have much to complain about except JP Morgan, which was down $15 today. Stock was acting perfect, and they had this conference and they announced something about lower rate on fees for certain things, and they just hit the crap out of that thing today. And amazingly, JP Morgan's the one you always depend on. Nope. Goldman strong, Morgan Stanley strong, Citigroup strong, Bank of New York is strong, even Wells Fargo is strong. And they kicked JP Morgan in the teeth today. Yippee. What else? Tomorrow's the Fed. So let me explain 2 very important parts of that will not be explained to you. Number 1, the Fed only controls short-term rates. unless they are printing money out of thin air to buy up the whole freaking bond market like they did a few years back. They say because of COVID. And of course they did that. And of course what happened is they stayed there, they kept it there, and they created all the stupid inflation. Inflation finally came down when they stopped printing money and they started raising rates because they were forced to. Remember, the reason why he doesn't get buried for the inflation is because he is not elected. So they all blame Biden. Biden gets the blame because he called it transitory and also his asinine, ass 10, ass 11 federal spending and increase in the government. Again, as much as I am not through with Trump, Biden was the worst president we have ever had by far. And we'll get into President Trump in a little bit. So he's going to lower short-term rates. There's a problem. What have we said to you for a very long time about the Fed and rates? That they had better listen to the market. If the market is screaming, else there could be problems. So if the market is screaming don't lower rates, and they lower rates, could be a problem. If the market's screaming lower rates, and they don't, could be a problem. Well, we're letting you know, leading up to tomorrow, where it looks like they're going to go from 3 3/4 Fed funds rates to 3.5. The 10-year yield in the last 7-8 days has gone from 3.988 to 4.186. Now, you may not think that's a big move, but it is in a short period of time. And we're just here wondering, is the market trying to tell him something? And if he lowers rates too much, what is that going to mean? On top of that, you have President Trump, who has telegraphed Kevin Hassett as the next head of the central bank after Powell's gone, which means Donald Trump will be running the Fed. Kevin Hassett's just a puppet. Nothing personal. And I'm not even saying that as a put down. It just is. It's the nature of the beast. The president likes control, and he's going to put somebody in there that he can control. There's no doubt in my mind. So the worry, what if he lowers rates but the 10-year yield keeps going higher? What is the 10-year yield? Well, those are your mortgage payments. It's cost of capital. We're going to be paying attention to that. Right now you have a little bit of persistence to the upside in long yields. And when we say long, that's duration. And of course, Powell has never listened to the market because he thinks he's God. And certainly the president won't listen to the market because he thinks he's double God. He can do no wrong. And probably if I'm a billionaire and I became president for a second time after being blasted for a few years and impeached twice, I'd probably think I'm God too. Anyway. So that's a little bit of the story. And again, I will tell you, we did not buy into healthcare. And I was actually a little bit mad about it. I'm not mad anymore. They're actually really hitting it pretty darn good and brought it down pretty quickly. So it's not all, but a lot of avoiding this second until otherwise. I also have to let you know we did an early webcast today, and I have to tell you, there's still a lot of areas to definitively avoid. And how do we figure that out? Well, we know what bear markets look like. We know what bearish markets looks like. We know where trouble lies based on the action, not based on what somebody thinks. So just letting you know. And you know what we're going to do in a couple of minutes? We're going to list it for you. And I have to tell you, some names in some areas are still way, way down. Starting with the payroll companies. We already know the jobs market is on the troublesome side. ADP and paychecks remain in a brutal bear market. And if that ain't something to watch, I don't know what is. Brutal bear markets. And just so you know what they do, I use paychecks. They handle all my stuff. Up next, what are those areas? And we'll explain them to you. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Boy, oh boy. I'm just noticing in the aftermarket Cracker Barrel, the stock, by the way, classic bear market in Cracker Barrel, stock's gone from 72 to 27 since July. It's down another $3 and change after the close. They lowered guidance again. But they kept the CEO. Great. And I noticed also Dave & Buster's getting yonked also in the aftermarket. So you got a restaurant and what is Dave & Buster's? A play, what do you do? A lot of games and restaurant too. Both being hit in the aftermarket. Anyway, just letting you know these areas. First off, the AutoZone areas. They were already weak and in bearish trend. AutoZone down $270 today. 7%. It is a high price name. Classic bear market. And of course, when you look at the group, Advance Auto Parts, classic bear market. O'Reilly Automotive, classic bear market. What's the other one? Genuine Parts, classic bear market. The waste management companies, Waste Management, bear market. Republic Services, Waste Connection, bear market. We already mentioned ADP and paychecks. Where you give your blood, Quest Diagnostics and LabCorp? Well, they've topped out badly. By the way, we put that in the healthcare group. Auto dealers, just plain old weak. Managed care, we have highlighted that, starting with United Health for a very long time. And by the way, I might as well stop for 1 minute and say, I saw a video. It looked like about 25 women outside the court. One poster said, I want to marry you, Luigi. Another one, what the frick is the matter with these people? What happened to these people? Where they actually are not just, hey, we agree. They're actually going to the court and praising him and celebrating. They're cheerleading a guy that took out a freaking gun and, like a cowardly prick that he is, shot a man in the back dead who has 2 kids and a wife and never did anything to anybody. And these women, what the hell is going on? Are they nuts? By the way, it was mostly, there were some men too, and they've raised money for his defense. He's a murderer. I move on. Hotels. Do you know about 2 weeks ago, the hotels looked like they had about sitting near the highs, look like they're about to go topside on a nice little breakout to the upside. They have all tucked in badly like frightened turtles. Just letting you know. So the hotels have topped. The cruise lines, very bad shape. Only Viking is strong. That was the recent IPO in the last year. Viking Cruise is strong. But Royal, Norwegian, Carnival, very weak. Bear markets, but I do want to point out Norwegian, big insider buying as of recent, but just because somebody's buying insider-wise doesn't mean the stock goes up. Housing stocks, well, we've been all over that for quite a while, and includes the housing-related things. Sherwin-Williams in the Dow, a brutal bear market. Williams-Sonoma, not deathly bear market, but not bullish. Let's see, Whirlpool, brutal bear market, so housing related. Home Depot, was down. By the way, Home Depot was down 9 pre-market, then up 2, finished down almost 5 today. What did they say? Their comps going forward not very good. And we've done our own little channel checks at Home Depot, and I wouldn't say things are bad, but they're soft. Stock's saying so. So the home builders, home related, the consumer staples. Holy crap, the Procter & Gamble in the Dow. Holy crap, the Clorox. Holy crap, to Colgate and General Mills and the tobaccos. Pepsi and Coke. And don't get me started on the alcohol stocks. That's good news. Bad news for the stocks, good news that people aren't drinking as much. Bearish. Chinese ADR is just plain old bearish now. Restaurants. There's 2 that are strong. Dine Brands, which is IHOP, and Applebee's. Restaurant brands, which is Burger King and Tim Hortons. Relative strength-wise. But don't dare look at Kava Group. Don't dare look at Chipotle. I mean, holy crap. And the rest are just, well, I just mentioned Cracker Barrel, didn't I? How the hell can the CEO keep her job? Nothing personal. She's overseen a stock go from 72 to 23.5 now in the aftermarket. Yeah, let's keep her. The AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, bearish. The utilities, topped, bear mode, interest rate sensitive. Then you got some important individual names. Costco, bear market. Netflix, bear market. Boeing looks like it just failed at the 50-day. Meta just looks like it failed at the 50-day. Maybe failed. Uber, the same. Tractor Supply. MasterCard and Visa, just plain old bearish. And then, as I stated to you about healthcare, Amgen was at new yearly highs 4 days ago at 346. It's 313 in 4 days. That's what we mean by coming after the healthcare. Economically sensitive names, not all, but if one wants to look at Carrier, air conditioning, brutal bear market. GE looks like it's topped. Something like a Roper, ROP, brutal bear market. Energy Systems, United Rentals, just a brutal top and bearish phase now to that important name. So we're just letting you know there's a lot of ick. Still, while the indices are up near the highs, the Russell's up near the highs, even the mid-caps. So very important. Stock selection. Muy importante right now. Up next. Have I thrilled you yet? Up next. Yeah, we'll figure it out. This, that, and the other thing. I'm Gary. This is the one only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Of course, the strength has been the semis, not all. The electronic manufacturer contractors, the data storage, not all. The big banks, not JP Morgan today. The private equity companies are coming on strong, like Blackstone, BlackRock, Evercore, KKR. Other financials, pretty darn good. State Street Bank, Invesco, Synchrony Financial. The Canadian banks are stronger than our banks. Gold, silver, very, very strong. Silver had a bang-up day today. In the mega caps, Broadcom, Apple, Google, strong. Tesla's trying. But a lot of weakness underneath there. Market's quite interesting, I must. Again, you better be in the right spots. These areas I just told you about. By the way, we didn't even mention the bad retailers. There's some strong retailers now. Abercrombie & Fitch, American Eagle Outfitters, Boot Barn, Estee Lauder, Five Below, Ralph Lauren, Ross Stores, TJ Maxx, Urban Outfitters, the dollar stores. But don't you dare go look at Crocs. Don't you dare go look at Lululemon. Holy smokes to that one. Don't you dare look at Target. So mixed bag there also. I didn't mention defense stocks, the war guys. Mostly bearish. So you better be in the right spot, kids. You better be in the right spot. As we get the Fed tomorrow, who the hell knows what they do or say. Again, nothing personal. I don't know the guy. He's nauseating. Overrated dolt. Seriously. About as overrated as can be. Moving on. I am in first place in my fantasy league, all by myself, with 3 weeks to go. I should have already won it, but there were a couple of weeks where Lamar Jackson just screwed me. But I am in first place in the Couch Potato League. Name of my team is Reese's Pieces, after my grandson Reese. And God bless the Seattle defense, the Dallas kicker, Jahmyr Gibbs. Wow. But I got to keep winning. I think I've got an easy matchup this week. But I need, I'm going to still play Lamar Jackson this week. I could play the Chargers quarterback, but Lamar Jackson was even a little bit better than that. By the way, I also have Puka Nacua, the wide receiver for the Rams, and he has been banged up for me this year. And Zay Flowers finally had a good game with the Ravens quarterback, so we shall see. If I win this week and the second place team loses, I win the championship, I believe. Hold on. No, I wouldn't. Still got to win one more game after that. Yeah. Anyway, so that's my fantasy league update. So when I go on Fox, I'm very careful because I know the administration's temperamental, and I disagree with a lot. So what I always do is, I wish I had the president's ear, because I would tell him, and I do it very constructively. Very constructively. I don't use pejoratives. I don't call names. But it really is getting to be... what's the Genesis song? Land of Confusion. See, I am economically conservative. Forget the rest. I'm not Republican. I think the Republicans suck also. I think they're full of crap too. Why? They're running $2 trillion deficits this year, and they didn't have to. But I could go backwards and come up with other things. But I am economically conservative. I believe there are certain things. Number one, low taxes, less regulations, get rid of onerous regulations. And the good news is the president's doing that. The good news is the president extended his tax cuts. This is all good news. The bad news is a lot of the rest. Let's talk about it. The land of confusion. Well, for months he was telling you all, trying to convince you that tariffs are paid by other countries. Well, if I'm to use the right word, it's a lie. It's not a mistake. It's a lie. Tariffs are paid by the importer, the business who has the choice of putting it on to the consumer. It's a fact, 1,000%. Now, one could argue there could be negotiating between both parties, but by definition, a tariff is a tax. Yet this Treasury Secretary goes on TV and says it's not a tax. Okay, call it a fee. What's the difference? It's a cost. Whatever. We don't like being treated like we're stupid. We don't like getting the middle finger shot at us. So that's the start of the little confusion, not to us, but he's telling people out there that just want to believe everything they say, and we understand that. Well, that's number one. It's a lie. Number two, the president told the farmers what he's doing for them yesterday, which is handing them $12 billion. I don't know which way they're doing it. But the reason he's doing it is because he screwed them because of the tariffs. But he was out there and he gets a farmer with him sitting there and praising him like crazy. I got news for you. There were other farmers out there pissed off, but they wouldn't actually have them sit next to him. So the farmers got screwed and then get taken care of by who? Us. Us. Then the president is out saying this. We're going to get rid of the income tax and replace them with tariffs. Well, it comes under the heading of, do you think we're idiots? Income tax raises about $2.5 trillion. The tariffs brought in $250 billion. They have to go up tenfold. And if you put them up tenfold, we're going to go into a deep recession, if not worse. Why? It's taxing. So all of a sudden, the tax cuts are usurped by these tax hikes. What the president is not saying is that $250 billion raised is a tax hike. Costco is suing the administration right now. If the Supreme Court comes out against the tariff, Costco wants their money back. Apple paid $1.8 billion in tax. Now, they're not going to ask it back. Why? Because Tim Cook was smart. He bent the knee at the White House and kissed the butt and got exemptions. In other words, picking and choosing winners, which is not a part of the conservative thought process. Again, land of confusion, which takes me to the other part of the equation. If I had his ear, Mr. President, you must stop the overpromising, or you're going to lose the midterms. If you overpromise and underdeliver, you're screwed. And what do they keep saying every day? The golden age is coming. What? Affordability is a hoax. That's what he said the other day. People watch television. Do you know what the numbers are on people living paycheck to paycheck? I'll put 1 + 1 = 2 up next. This is the one only Investor's Edge. So, for his duration, the worst president ever, Joe Biden was telling everybody everything's great, terrific, fabulous. Inflation is transitory. The border's secure. Up yours and go take a hike. Well, what are we getting now? Affordability's a hoax. Now, let me talk to you about optics, ladies and gentlemen. Number one, a ton of people live paycheck to paycheck because of affordability. Because it costs a lot to buy homes, though the prices are coming down. That's good to see. But rent goes up, insurance is going up. The tariffs had coffee going up and all kinds. Why do you think Trump just took off the tariffs on a lot of food? Oh, that's right. The tariffs are a tax on the food. Duh. Again, don't treat us like we're stupid. So imagine these optics. You have the president out there. Affordability is a hoax while people can't afford. And he's saying that in a room that is now spewed with gold. And I don't use spewed, I'm just using that as a word. Decorated with a lot of gold. They're going to lose the election next year. Because I got news for you. Overpromising. I got news for you. I'm sure he'll take off more tariffs. That will help. But affordability is a tough nut to crack, even as a president. And when you talk golden age, for who? For your Oval Office that's smothered in gold now? Optics. And unfortunately, I think he has too many yes people not saying what I'm saying right now. But guess what he's doing now? He's now going out and he's going to tell everybody how great everything is and what he's going to do. That's a problem. He's going to start talking golden age. That's a problem. Optics. I got to tell you, as bad as the Marxist Party is, if the election was today, they'd have the House. And then watch the impeachment start within a day. I wish I had his ear. They are doing it all wrong. Stop with the overpromising. Say you're going to do the best you can, but it's not easy. Stop blaming Biden. That's the other thing. Just so you know, they decided in the last week, just blame everything on Biden. What month is it? Oh, it's December. When did he start? Oh, it's 11 months already. And what's the problem? He said it would take a day, a week, a month. He overpromised. And how do I know all this? I know a lot of MAGA people that wouldn't vote for him today. MAGA. Not just people who vote Republican, but MAGA. I know farmers that wouldn't vote for him today. I know people that were neck deep wouldn't vote for him. Let's not forget the optics of the deportations also, which they really screwed up. By the way, Obama was the king of deporting, but they did it calmly and quietly. What are they doing? You think Hispanics are going to be happy? You walking into Miami warehouse and just grabbing people? And then there's a newspaper story that they took a 75-year-old man that's been here since childhood, and you're sending him to a country that he's never been in and breaking up his family, and you think that's going to get votes? You're nuts. You're going to lose votes. And I don't know if you've seen, he's lost a lot of the Hispanic vote. And I'm not just talking about the election here, though it sounds. I'm talking about economic policy, which is asinine, ass 10, and ass 11. And that is get rid of the frickin' tariffs, all of them. Stop saying they're the end-all, be-all. Don't tell anybody you're going to soup it up and then do the opposite. Stop changing your mind every 3 weeks where companies cannot plan. Keep taxes low. Get rid of onerous regulations. Produce more oil to keep it down, oil prices down. Don't be too easy on the money spigot, because that can create inflation again, and then look out below. And then let us go to work. How's that? Because right now, and I'm trying to give him the benefit, it's the land of confusion when I watch him every day. And I watch every word. It's mass confusion to hear somebody say, you're going to get rid of income tax because of how much tariffs is coming into the country. Ain't happening, and the lie. So as Gary, a conservative, economically, fiscally, oh, don't forget they're running $2 trillion deficits too. And that's just one person, me. And I got news for you. Many others are watching very closely. Very closely. And they would lose the election if it came today. We'll be watching. We'll keep you informed. But they better get better at what they are doing on all fronts. The marketing side, the optics side, the verbal side, the economic side. Because if they don't, it's only going to get worse. And yes, he's touting the market. I would too. Markets can be fleeting. Just trying to help. You'll have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise they will be well. Thanks for joining. Have a good night. Peace out. Bye-bye.